send my condolences to UVA and the community, the football team, Coach Elliott, during this hard, tragic time. Obviously exchanged messages with Coach Elliott this morning, and obviously he's a strong man of faith, but a tremendous tragic loss that they've experienced right now, and just send my hearts and thoughts and prayers to the team and the university there. Questions?
Josh, can you talk a little bit about, as an offensive coordinator, having to morph your game plan like you did this past weekend, and put a full game plan together for a true freshman quarterback, and have to understand what makes sense for him at this stage of development and not, and just try to get through the game with a victory?
Yes, I think when you're going through challenges that we've been through, obviously new starters, injuries, you have to kind of morph that game plan each and every week, and it really comes in three different areas, not just for the quarterback, but also the new pieces up front, offensive line-wise, obviously different skill players, and just try to create an identity for what it's going to take to win that game, depending upon that game plan. And I thought Jakari did a great job last week of executing the game plan and really showing poise. To be a freshman starter on the road back in your home state, you can imagine the anxiety that he probably had leading up to the game. But he's a poised player, and that really showed throughout the game, and he brought energy and excitement to the sideline, and ultimately that led in belief in our players to believe in him and believe in us.
He didn't show any nerves early on, right? You guys scored right away, pretty much. How did he handle that? Did you see any nervousness from him once you guys were kind of out on the field, or was it pretty confident?
No, he's always been a confident young man all throughout the year, at every opportunity that he's been given. He's very, very mature for who he is. He's a very smart player, obviously. He's brought a lot of energy to our team throughout the year, in critical moments, whether it's been third down, any type of situation that he's been in the game. Our players are excited to see him play. And when you have a young player like that people get excited about, obviously, like you said, it instills confidence in your sideline. And the thing that he did was he went out and managed the game the way he needed to. He was great in his decision-making. He didn't make any critical mistakes, and I think that's important too, because you look at that team that we played in. That team was a very talented team. They were number 2 in the country in turnover margin at the time that we played them, and so he knew going into the game, protecting the football at all costs was going to be critical to our success, and that's a credit to him and the other players.
How is he, progressing, when it comes to learning the playbook? He started out the year basically running, not a ton of plays, running similar packages, that kind of thing. Now he's had to run the whole offense. Did he already have that down coming into the season because he's been here since January, or did he have to kind of get up to speed the last couple of weeks?
Well, I think recently you've kind of seen the playbook more kind of as we did the first initial question, right? Trying to build it off the skill set of the players that we have left, and I think that's been a challenge, but also it's been something that they've embraced. Is how can we get as creative as we can to allow our players to be in the best position that they can be in successfully, and kind of building off each and every one of their strengths. And I think that as we went back and talked about, it's not just him just as a quarterback, but what can the offensive line handle with all the new different pieces, new pieces at running back, what can they do and what do they do best. And so just trying to be as creative as we can as down this stretch to benefit our players the best way possible.
And how have you guys changed how you want to utilize Brashard Smith? Last weekend, a lot of screen passes to him. You line up in the backfield a little bit. How have you, adjusted how you want to use him?
Well, we've obviously experienced a little bit of injuries there at the running back position, and so it's just as we're getting a little bit more depth and being more healthier at the wide receiver position, we're just finding creative ways that we can utilize all of our personnel. Obviously, Brashard is a really good player that we feel strong about. And we don't want to see him spend as much time on the sideline. We want to try to find creative ways that he can be out on the field, impacting the game. And he has such a unique skill set that kind of falls in a lot of different roles. And so he's a very versatile player. He's a player that we feel needs to get the ball in his hand as many ways as possible. And we got to continue to find ways to do that for him.
When we spoke to Jakari back in the spring, he was pretty clear about I need to improve as a passer. In what ways have you seen him take strides in that phase of his game? And in general, is that something you feel like quarterbacks can improve a lot on at the college level during their years here?
Well, I think it does take time. It takes time and concentrated effort, right? He's done a really good job in practice of obviously trying to continue to improve his fundamentals. It was something that was obviously coming out of high school. He was more known as a runner, a dynamic threat in what they did offensively, even in high school and always coming up. And so that's a key piece to his game that he wants to continue to improve. And He's focusing on those steps. He's taking those steps. Obviously, as any freshman player, it's always going to take time to fully develop. You can't speed up that process in there, but first and foremost, I think for any quarterbacks, you got to start in your decision making first, and that's an area that he's really excelled in making smart decisions, not putting the ball at risk, and then he's going to continue to develop and improve in all the other areas.
When you say fundamentals with him, is that more like footwork, mechanical stuff that he's really worked on, or you mentioned decision making? Like, are there certain things he really kind of focused on?
I think as a quarterback, you're always focusing on everything, right? Footwork, arm fundamentals, as far as your motion, delivery, accuracy. He's obviously he's such a powerful kid. Sometimes even one of his challenges is take a little bit off. Don't be as powerful, because he does have a very strong and talented arm. That he's also learned how to be able to have touch. Being able to place the ball where needed, not just on deep the balls, but intermediate and short throws. And so, I think altogether, Coach Ponce has done a great job working with him and continue to develop him. And, we're excited about his future.
Marius praised Jalen Knight and the way he's worked. He had the issue with fumbles earlier in the year, and really praised him for how he did on Saturday, running hard and everything. What did you see from him? How have you seen him work and focus the last few weeks?
Yeah, Jalen's a guy that deserves tremendous amount of credit, and really proud of him. Just, we talked about resiliency, right, and being able to bounce back from adversity. And here's a young man that went through probably about a 3 or 4 game stretch in there where, he was in a little bit of a slump, and it eventually led to losing some playing time. But he didn't get down on himself. We kept telling him we believe in him and continue to work. He showed up each and every day of practice, working really hard, and to see him go out and have success, I think that was very important to him. It was important to us. We believe in Jalen, and we got to just get him back and having that confidence, being able to run the way he ran on Saturday. And when he's able to do that, he provides our offense and our team a huge spark.
What did you like about the way he ran in the game?
I thought he ran very physical, broke through a number of arm tackles, obviously created some explosive plays out on the perimeter. But for him, it was also about ball security. That was a team that went to the game. They were pulling the ball, yanking the ball all over the place, and he did a great job. Not once did the ball ever come loose or even look as if it was loose. He did a great job with his ball security, and then also he did a great job at blitz pickup. A couple times in there, they brought some key blitzes where they were blitzing the back, and him being able to step up in there and stop the blitzers, and that's an area where he has improved throughout the year. I thought he did a really, really good job, and so really proud of him, really proud of the way that he's responded, and looking forward to continue to push him to the next level as he gains that confidence back and becomes the player that he is.
What can you say about Clemson's defense and the challenge they pose?
They're a fast and athletic defense. Obviously, they've been known for their defense over the last few years, and obviously recruited really well on that side of the ball. And they've got some high-profile, high star players, but for us, it's about focusing on us. Obviously, we know the challenges of going on the road. I think that's something now that we embrace. Our team has showed up prepared on the road, and they've done a good job handling adversity and hostile crowds. But we've got to focus on playing the cleanest football that we can. We've got to continue to improve in a lot of different areas, but we got to carry over confidence as well as we improve. We got to carry over confidence of winning a tough game on the road last week, and be able to carry that over into this game. It's going to be a tremendous challenge for us, and we look forward to it.
What has Lawrence Seymour done well? He's made a couple starts for you guys now.
Yeah, Seymour's jumped in. You talk about a guy that probably at the beginning of the year probably never saw his opportunity coming. At one point, battling for a 2 position, if not a 3, and now all of a sudden now he's a starter. And so being able to jump into that role and continue to prepare, I think is a credit to Lawrence. He's a kid that also could have went in the tank earlier when he wasn't playing or when he didn't probably see his opportunity to play, but he just kept working. And one thing after another, whether it's injuries or opportunities, led to his opportunity, and he's capitalized on it, and he's continuing to work. And that's the thing that I'm really proud of our guys, that the way they have responded to adversity. They continue to believe in each other, continue to trust in each other, and ultimately that leads to success when you can get all 11 men on the field to believe in each other.
Probably technically a little undersized, but so what does he do well to kind of make up for some of the physical tools that he might?
Well, I think Lawrence. I think one of his greatest strengths is obviously his ability to move. I think he has really good lateral movement and ability, and I think he's a fighter. our kids fought on Saturday, and when you watch that game, I think that was the key thing that stood out is how hard we played. We didn't always play right. Technique wasn't always right. Plays weren't always right, but we played hard. And that's something that you can't coach, something you can't correct. And for Lawrence, that's a great strength for him. He plays tremendously hard. He's going to fight until the whistle and play hard to the whistle. And when you got that type of effort out of your players, they can accomplish a lot on the field. And that's all we ask for them right now is to play as hard as you can for as long as you can. And we can fix the rest.
Anything else for Coach Gattis?
Jakari's obviously a dual threat quarterback. Tyler Van Dyke, not as athletic as Jakari Brown. How much does a dual threat quarterback really kind of open up the offense as far as play calling is concerned?
Well, I think it puts challenges on opposing teams' defenses first, right? From a defensive standpoint, it's how do you defend a dual threat quarterback. There's certain things that you won't see when you have a dual threat quarterback that you would see if you had an in-pocket passer. But also, obviously, there's new challenges that we will see continue as we move forward, right? With different forms of coverages. You start to see people load the box when you have a dual threat quarterback because of the threat of the run. And so I think, for us, it's making sure that we can take advantage of all things. Take advantage of being able to use the quarterback in the run game, but also being able to use our quarterback in our pass game. And I think, how we use them, I think is very important. I think obviously our skilled players around them being able to step up and make critical plays in moments in games are going to be very important to the supporting cast of Jakari as well, because you're talking about a freshman quarterback. So we don't always want to put it all on his shoulders, but we want to make sure that the supporting cast is playing up to a level that we can kind of relieve him of any stress that allow him to go out and play as clean as possible for us.
How much do you think, you guys have played in some tough road environments, obviously 107,000 people at A&M, full house at Virginia Tech. Clemson's obviously got an atmosphere, it's right up there with them. How do you think the offense has learned to handle those environments, and how are you guys going to teach Jakari, because he didn't start those games to play that kind of environment if he does play this weekend?
Yeah, we really kind of just embraced playing on the road, just our process, focusing on our away game process of what we do and how we prepare. Obviously a new challenge being on the road in a different type of environment. I think the experience that we experienced early in the year at Texas A&M should be able to carry over a little bit of confidence playing in front of such a large crowd that we'll experience on Saturday. But any road game is any road game. We've got to focus first on us, focus on the things that we must do to win this game, and ultimately we got to execute at a very high level, especially when you're going against a talented team. You can't afford to give them anything. You've got to be able to maximize on all the opportunities that you have and capitalize on them ultimately with effort, execution, and fundamentals.
Got time for one more for Coach Gattis, if anyone has one?
Yeah, I'll ask about Restrepo, just kind of getting him back, maybe, I know that, just getting him back, I know early on he was certainly really good, but what are you seeing when he's out there?
You're seeing great leadership from him. Obviously he's a kid that early in the year was obviously voted as a captain for us, and you see his type leadership. And, I think the challenge for us is now getting all the different pieces and all the parts on the field, in the absence of Xavier, obviously you saw the emergence of Brashard. And so I think, as you look at how we try to utilize those two guys is find as many ways that we can get them on the field together because they both are important pieces of what we do offensively, and we believe in both of them from their skill set. And so, when you got two guys that play in the same position, obviously there's a little bit of challenges there. But we've got to be as creative as we can to find ways to get those guys the ball and be an important piece of our offense.
Were they on the field very much last game?
They were.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Take care.